folks, Travis Fox here with FoxOptic.com. Today we're going to be taking another close look at the Pulsar Axion. I've done another video on this. We'll have a few more coming out. Primarily what we're going to focus on in this video is the difference between the Axion regular series, so like in the case of this is an Axion XM30, and here what we have is an XM30 key. So on the outside, other than a little bit of labeling changes, we have blue button here, black button here. You can see where the little tab, you probably can't see it there, but this one just says Axion. It's in blue, and then here it says Axion key, it's in black. So essentially we're going to touch on what the differences are. The main difference between the two units, just right off the bat, I don't think it's very complicated. I think most everybody understands this. The standard XM models are going to have the video and image capture built into the unit, whereas the key units do not. And then you're also going to have Wi-Fi for streaming to the Stream Vision application. So you have a Wi-Fi antenna, and the regular units are able to put that signal out so that if you're out in the field and you want to share your experience with somebody else via a pad or a phone, you're going to be able to turn that antenna on, put that signal out, within about 50 feet or so around the device, and have them be able to hook up to it so that they can see what you're seeing inside the device. It makes sharing the device, especially given the price of some of these being, harder for a kid or somebody to have access to, due to the cost. In some instances, going to let you share with them, like if you're out there hunting with your kid, or if you've got one and you want to go with a buddy. So that can be a good feature for the cost difference. So long story short, you're going to get video, you're going to get the Wi-Fi ability in the standard, you're not going to get it in the key mode. Beyond that, there are a few differences that I want to touch on that are a little more confusing, that you might not notice unless you're looking at the specs on some things. So first one I want to tell you is there is no difference in the case of the 230s, there's no difference in field of view. You're going to see the degrees field of view are identical, even though there's going to be a magnification naming difference between them. So you're going to see 2.5x base on the key model, and you're going to see 4x base on the standard model, standard XM30 models, which would normally lead you to believe that there's going to be a significant change in field of view. That's not the case. The reason there's a magnification naming change is the physical ocular on the rear of the two models is designed a little bit different. I don't know if you can see that in there, but I'll just tell you, in the case of the key, it's about 11.5 millimeters. In the case of the standard XM30, or the standard XM models in general, it's about 14 millimeters. That plus the fact that in the key model, you're running an LCOS or lead crystal on silicone display versus an AMOLED display inside of the standard XM. So you're getting a better display in the standard XM. It appears a little larger. It physically is a little larger, which requires the ocular change. So because the image itself appears larger, even though the field of view constraining is the same, the objects in there appear larger, thus the magnification naming change. So even though you're seeing 4x here and 2.5x here, there is no field of view difference between the two units. As far as field of view is concerned, they're going to be identical. Things are going to look a little larger to your eye in the standard XMs. The other thing in the screens that is going to be a difference, you're going to see a temperature rating difference. So the LCOS technology is going to get you down to around the 5-degree mark, whereas AMOLED is going to get you all the way down to about -13. If you're in a really cold climate, that could be a deciding factor for you. One thing I will tell you though, given the smaller size of the devices and the ease of putting them in and out of a pocket, I don't really anticipate for the coyote guy in general in the northern climates that's going to possibly be as big a deal as you might think. One, the batteries, very compact, easy to change. They're lithium. All you got to do, pop a button on the front, they come out, they'll only go in one direction, easy to change at night. So if you're a coyote guy and you're doing multiple sets, the way most guys do, you're not out there for tremendously long periods of time. You're going to have the ease of putting it in and out of a pocket. It's going to stay fairly warm. So I don't know that the temperature rating is going to be a big a factor as you might think at first, just because it's going to be fairly easy to keep the thing warm and to change batteries in it. So you might keep that in mind. if you're after just the basics and you want to keep your cost low, then you might still consider the key, even if you think that the temperature rating might be of some issue, because I just don't think it's going to be as big a deal as you might think. So that's one attribute. The other stuff on the table is just to kind of show you, the different devices that these can complement. The big addition that a thermal scanner brings to any night vision game is the obvious ability to gain VTech. So I don't care if you're running tube intensified, or if you're running a near IR device, or if you already have a thermal. The big thing that it's going to do is, if you're not already running a thermal, obviously if you're already running a thermal, the big thing it's going to do for you is unencumber you from having to be hunched down over that gun and pointing it all around. And when you're doing your scanning, it's going to give you a lot of fluid mobility to be able to pull that thing up, just get in behind it, scan real quick. That coupled with the PIP, I don't know if you can see that down there on my pad, but like there I'm zoomed on a light. I can get an explosion of that in a higher magnified in that picture-in-a-picture top window. So it's going to give you the ability to ID things, detect, and then nail down on them with your weapons mounted. So or if you're running, let's say, a near IR, where you're running a big IR light or something where you get really good reflected IDs, but you might have some foreground clutter or something that give you a little bit of problems on your detect, it's going to tremendously help you out there. It's probably, for the guys running near IR or tube intensified, a thermal monocular, in my opinion, probably the absolute most valuable thing that you could add. So that's another reason I want to nail down on these differences is there are some additional things in the key that I find to be, for its cost, pretty handy. So in the key model, because you're not running video and the tethering between, which is done on this switch right here in the case of the standard, that frees you up to where you can change color palettes, and you can toggle back and forth to your, like as you scroll through, single taps are going to scroll you through your color palettes on this button on a key model, and then a long press is going to take you back to your white hot. So I find that to be pretty intuitive. You give that up to gain the video over here. Is it a big deal? Not for everybody. Most guys are running white hot, black hot, so I do find it to be a little handier on here, but remember, you're giving up video for it. Over here, where you turn your Wi-Fi signal on for your stream vision application in the standard model, you're going to find that button application on here will allow you to turn that PIP feature on and off very rapidly. In a monocular, that's not as big a deal that you need to do it rapidly, but it is, so you're getting some button functionality back by giving up the video on that on key. So, while you are giving up some things, if video is just not important to you and you're a hunting guy just looking to add to your game, say you've already got video on the device that you're running, just know that the key could be a really, really good way for you to get into something that adds a tremendous amount of value to your hunting game at a lower cost. So with that said, I hope that I've kind of enlightened you on what the differences are between the two models. If you have any questions at all, or if I can give you a hand, give me a call toll free, 877-806-2977, or check me out on the web, www.foxoptic.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.